teach you about your car's extended warranty?
One and all, welcome to the latest and greatest edition of Nick's Nonfiction. You're here with your hack, Nick Muniz. We're talking about fishers, scammers, black hats, and identity thieves today with Adam Levin's Swiped. How to protect yourself in a world full of scammers and con men, the American dream. Remember the Equifax breach? Facebook just had a recent one. Mark Zuckerberg, he knows more than just your recent relationship status. He knows the last time you've been poked. They're pinging your phones. We're talking about tracer apps today. There's no consent. Fourth Amendment is being used as toilet paper in Congress. As a kid, my parents told me I could be anybody I want to be. As it turns out, identity theft is a crime. I give sermons on the weekend in a priest robe. Gotta give back. It's my alter ego. This was a hot thing through all of history. Read the bio for the show. Guys used to don goat skins to the ball. Nobody could tell you who you were at the masquerade. That's when all the stabbings go down. World War II, you're in the foxhole with your boy. A grenade goes off while you're holding the sausage hostage over in the woods. Your buddy dies, you pick up his dog tags, and you go back to his family. Up until 20 years ago at Facebook, you could have as many kids and wives until you get it right. Nobody knows who Shakespeare is. Big comedians use ghostwriters. In 2015, Primera leaked more than 11 million people's social security numbers and medical records. Medical records. You don't have autonomy over your body in 2021. It's foolish to think you have doctor-patient confidentiality. I volunteered at hospitals. HIPAA, PIPA. First rule of hospital is do not talk about hospital club. We got the old ladies. Gladys, I'm gonna knock your dentures out. That used to be confidential. Now you need a passport if you want to go to the grocery store. That's the new frontier of this stuff. We're going to go through the eras of tax fraud. You'll learn how to save a couple bucks. And now, likely, Zoom and TikTok have harvested all of your data for the Chinese Communist Party. Why does Zuckerberg himself put tape over his own webcam? It's not a damning argument, but the Trace Act is pretty bad. All in today's show. No warrants needed. The USPS even just got bipped. Did you see this? We already know they're spying on your mail. They saw your Adam and Eve receipt. USPS is bugging people's Alexas. They're watching you play with the toys as well. Take a look under the hood. You're going to see we have a tyranny problem. All this atomization in the digital world. It's easy to get taken advantage of when we're isolated. We got to band together. Maybe, I feel like the meme already. What are you waiting for, kid? I don't know. Americans to take their freedom back, I guess. Me too, kid. Learned about the birth of the thumbprint today. Levin's Swiped. It's a great book. Tossing it over to a word from our sponsors. And we're back. About the author, Adam Levin. His arms look like Chipotle bags tattooed. What happened to that guy? He's doing Masked Singer. Adam K. Levin is the former director of the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs. He's the co-founder of Credit.com and the founder and chairman of Cyber Scout. Some Jersey action. I'm from there. It's the biggest pharmaceutical state, so there's a lot of poaching to be done. Levin received his BA from Stanford, got his JD from University of Michigan. That can't be right. He was J and his D at the U of Mich in 1974 and then moved straight to New Jersey legislature. He was able to get some consumer protection laws in action. These regulatory agencies aren't doing much. You need a maven like this Levin to go out there. He's spreading the good word. It's not just about tech today. The history of identities. 1994, the guy co-founded Credit.com. Go look up his stuff if you want to have your website fully secure. Biggest theme of the show, everyone's going to get hit eventually. And this book came out in 2017, Amazon bestseller. Best-selling book, 800 CEO reads. So we know he probably falls in the 700 to 800 range. And the Sunday Times in the UK is shouting him out. It's an international masterpiece. And you got an adorable corgi as the cover art. His little 8-bit imposter. Chapter 1, History of Identity. Started with a run-of-the-mill story. A couple kids who were videoing themselves in some box store in San Francisco doing the latest dance. They had 50,000 likes on this video. The kids are thinking, this is my big break. I'm being noticed. And the parents are going, there's these internet kids. My baby is so precious. They all want to beat off to my kid. That too. In the back of the picture was the parents' credit card. So 50,000 scammers were tossing it around into forums. They were out a couple $1,000s. That's all FDIC insured. So it's a win-win crime. Obviously, leaving your house, you have to assume in today's world you're going to be on everybody's camera with all the interconnectedness. It used to be cool in the 90s when you would photobomb somebody. You should get dropped as aerial ordnance in Syria if you're photobombing people in 2021. It's a hack bit, you hacker. Adam is saying, we have a diminished expectation of privacy in today's world. I would say non-existent. We just all take for granted since 2001, the Patriot Act. Yeah, FBI, man, we just make memes about it. I hope you're all putting tape over your laptops when you're going on the CIA-sponsored websites. He is saying desirable information goes wherever it is wanted. There's these hunters out there. They're prowling. You have no privacy. You're being stalked out here in the digital world. To cap that story from San Fran, Ellen DeGeneres had the girls on. They got 700,000 followers capitalized on their 15 minutes of fame. It's trying to draw the point that Ellen wasn't able to find out more about these girls in their 10-minute interview than you were able to tell through their online profiles. This mid part of the chapter is all about we're giving away so much information, and it's called dynamic hunting. When you're stalking an animal, you got to learn how your prey thinks so you could follow it. Be the muskrat to eat the musky smelling rat. These hunters are looking at you like the little weasel you are, trying to get likes. I'd say build your businesses online for sure. But if you're just going on your family vacation, you don't need to share that with Zuckerberg. What happened to show everybody the pictures? That wasn't that fun anyway. Ellen DeGeneres, she's taking advantage of these girls, even though you see more about a person's profile, and you're going to get hit with a bow and arrow in the neck when you least expect it. Worse than swiped. Let me take it a buck up from Mr. Levin. People are getting, brainwashed into cults through the Facebook Messenger. Tons of scary stories about it online. It could all be made up. It's compelling. Think about history of identity. Meat of the chapter. Elvis. Man's died passing a bowel. He had so many imposters. They said they would go around to the small towns. Who is Elvis Costello? Kind of just took a dump all over the name. Not saying anything about his music. It's like The Prestige. You ever see that movie? Rich people have been using body doubles since the beginning of time. And now we're in this corporate culture, and they want your information just like the predators. So it's reinforcing this Kim Kardashian, show us what you're wearing and all that crap. His first tip is to trust whoever you want to idolize, but verify them. Kind of simple stuff here. You even have accounts of those girls that did get their 700,000 followers. If you blow up that quick especially, it's traumatizing. They do tests on these people. Go back and listen to So You've Been Publicly Shamed. You think you're excited on the way up when you're opening your phone and you got 100 hearts every single 5 minutes. What you're really going through is an extreme amount of anxiety. It's psychologically like a punch to your prefrontal cortex in the USA. That's not quite the history. It's going to be in our history books, I bet. Let's go back to Social Security cards. This was your skeleton key to the past, present, and future in the early days of the Sears catalogs. This is a pretty creepy one. Macy's and Sears paid for Social Security demographic information. Since the frontier, they would pay to put this on everybody's coffee table, just a catalog of crap to buy. and then you would buy something and they would steal your social security number. It's the American dream. Willie Loman was talking about this in the Playhouse. Wild to think that wouldn't be happening today. He mentions the 2015 primary leak, 11 million people's social security medical records. Office of Personnel Management was supposed to be in charge of this. They don't have very many preventative measures. And they report 30 million stolen social security numbers a year. It's a tenth of the population every year. What are they managing? The only solutions they had was mandatory permanent internet IDs. Modern history we're at again. Ajit Pai laughed out a couple of years ago for that IP imperialism. The battle is still underway. They put these feelers out, like the Tyranny app. It'll probably happen within Agenda 2030. Going deep today. Ajit Pai, we haven't seen the last of him. He's still playing his flute around the snake bin. I'm going to spy on everybody's Indian porn habits. I hate this guy. Him and Klaus Schwab, I'm taking them in a triple threat match. Steel cage. Adam, the advantageous, is going to go deeper into it later. We don't have preventative measures, and the Office of Personnel Management is trying to dissolve themselves as an agency at the moment. So in 10 years, there won't be anybody to call. A Wayback Machine, history. In Genesis, Jacob covered himself in the goatskin to impersonate his brother. What are we going to do, ban goats? That's the equal to you have to be recognized online at all times. Randomized, go to the 8chans and stuff, deep internet. It's a genuine experience. Genesis, for thousands of years since the slaughtering of the lambs, you just wander into a town and be anybody you wanted. Jesus even had copycats. Bro, turn this water into wine right now. How do you fake that? Smash the pot on the guy's head. In all the history, the Chinese dynasties, your surname came first, and then whatever your short call name is. In China, what you did mattered more. So, the Smiths, this is basic history. You're named after what you do. I think that rich stuff, the body doubles, is more entertaining. Joan of Arc became Joan of Orleans a couple times. Ghislaine Maxwell, that's definitely a real name. This bitch has been arrested for a year and we can't get a mug shot. No shot that's in that Joan of Arc time. It's her doppelganger. Bertelion was this old cloth company, and they did the royals' measurements, and they would check for imposters. So if anybody had the exact same measurement clothes, they would kill that guy so he doesn't have the chance to imposter anybody. How did I not mention Among Us yet? Still chapter 1. 1600s, people started keeping record of their family lineage. There's no state QR codes, no census. We talked in Smart Cities, the history of the census. Go check that chapter out. 1700s. Slave security would mark people with tattoos. Not going to make a joke about what ethnicity be getting tats. You've seen those new white tattoos? Pretty fresh. State penitentiary adopted the tattoo method. Only inmates got tats as well. Russian tattoos. Go look into that history. Authentic Gulag ink. China and the Middle East, the history of Sharia law. If you steal something, they're taking a limb. Or you look at somebody's ankle, they'll take an eyeball out of you. There were always ways to try to mark people so you can't, again, act like this is not history. You can't vote if you have been to jail. Well, actually, it's only felons. I hear you, commenters. Wrapping up this chapter, since 1917, the Social Security method was started, and they did the implementation of the fingerprint then. And they did prohibition as well, so you got the moonshiners burning their fingertips off so they couldn't be traced. Suspiciously, he didn't talk about the Federal Reserve and everybody getting this permanent tax barcode stamped on your ass when you're born for life. That's really what the Social Security number is. And then in the 1980s, it got pretty much irreversible. DNA started, so you basically cannot ever try to be somebody else. The lab could tell exactly where you were and what time and what body part you were scratching. Digital footprints are the newest thing now. That's why I started the chapter with it. They know more about you than if they just have a hair. I'm sure they could clone you, but now they could clone you in the cloud and then just 3D print you. They don't need any sperm. Chapter 2. How much deeper can the rabbit hole get? Swiping happens. You've probably swiped some bots on Tinder. My buddy in college, he was like texting. It wasn't an underage girl whom I EDP. Motherfuckers! He was texting this like high school or 18-year-old. Seemed like a scam from the beginning, but everybody was egging him on. And she gets him to send a DP, a real fluffed up dick pic, as endowed as this kid could get. And then come the financial threats. They're saying, we're going to send this to your entire contact list, the dick pic. We had to figure out this part of the story by going through his phone, because we all knew it was a scam. Tried to say, yeah, we hooked up. Swiping, it happens. Levin is saying a lot of times it's dumb luck out there. There's always been the scavengers, these opportunists, the coyotes. Levin quote, complete digital security is a pipe dream. Then he followed it up with a semi-related Hunter S. Thompson quote, luck is a very thin wire between survival and disaster, and not many people can keep their balance on it. Unless you're taking the security precautions online, you're not even walking the balance beam of luck, and you're definitely going to get scammed. You will have been swiped, scanned, digitized, filled, or disseminated against your will. People are getting came on online, disseminations. Cyber attacks are what Levin equates to mass casualties. So those are the big, sexy stories. But all day, there's snipers up there in the blinds taking out the easy targets. Medical sites, education registries, he says, are heavily poached. Anthem was one of the second biggest mass attacks, second largest health insurer in the country. Leaked 80 million people's medical information in 2014. Have you been contacted about your car's extended warranty? I'm going to have to find one of those pranks for the intro. Prank calls are like a lost art on the internet. That was when people were using the tech for fun. The CEO of Anthem was bragging about how the credit card numbers were kept behind 2 firewalls. You got to look into cybersecurity. That's what's under the Air Force now. Really interesting stories. They hire the hackers that do these $1 million busts and just pay them, $100 more, or pay them to troubleshoot your own security system. Let me make it relatable to street knowledge. You go up and ask a guy if he needs some physical protection, and if he's like, well, no, I don't believe in violence, then you threaten to kick his ass if he doesn't pay you to be his bouncer. This is what the threats we're dealing with these CEOs. You have to pay us for the security premium, and then you get got in a mass leak, and you definitely don't get reimbursed or hit up by the Department of We Give a Fuck. That CEO took over a month to notify all the members that they were breached. He just left them in the dark for a month, too. They're not even going to let you know. Carbonock. That was another leak, one of the biggest digital bank heists in history. All right, what was that movie? The fucking, when they're all magicians and they sneak into a bank. Nobody loses money when you rob a bank. That's why you gotta root for Bonnie and Clyde. Carboneck in 30 different countries lost billions of dollars. They gained access to people's accounts through fake emails, and they were doing wire transfers overseas. Move the money around a bunch, untraceable. $6 billion of fraudulent returns were stolen from the IRS in 2014. So this is kind of the tax wave, which a later chapter is about. It's still happening today. I was trading on Robinhood up until that GameStop. BS. They will freeze accounts on days where you want to trade. I should just get a new broker. Then you're paying for every single transaction like a chump. All you could do is lock up your phone, your laptop, keep your passwords written down on a piece of paper, make it 20 digits long. You've ever seen those bots where it tries every single conceivable letter and number? You're going to get hit. Hackers understand frustration, so they'll send you those fake messages like the Carbonok Bank scam. They'll get access to your wire accounts. I surf like housing websites frequently. Obviously, real estate. Half of the agents are scammers. As stuff is, you got to be on your toes. Let's hit up chapter 3, the 3 M's. He's giving you the 3 tips so other people aren't snooping. Minimize your exposure, monitor your accounts, and manage the damage. Minimizing exposure is easiest. It's like your first principle on there. People can't steal what isn't there to steal. First story of the book. Don't put your credit card number online. It happens to celebs just like us every year, but they don't notice that millions of dollars are missing. We'll skip it later. There's another one of those big bank heists, and this guy just took $10 million from the biggest whales in every country. You can get smart with it, but then there's these little assholes who pick on the opposite of Robin Hoods. Minimize your exposure. Obviously, you want to be like a ghost online. Dudes, is anybody honestly into chicks that are putting their asshole on the internet? This is some real simp territory here. This is going to be your wife. Your kids are going to scroll back on this. What's going on? Why do you need this affirmation? You're not getting paid. Everybody's looking for a ghost. Real time, off the grid. I hope that gets popularized. There's going to be some whacker shit after TikTok. The helmets. How are they going to... Or if you get the Elon Musk chip, someone could just hack into your brain immediately. What was number 2 of these things? Monitor your accounts. Obviously, have your bank send you that shit where every single transaction you get updated. Just be responsible. Better tip, one of those self-help ones, don't spend money 4 days a week. Pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be. Hard to do, but once you do it, it's like refining your diet. You just realize what other shit you're wasting. Self-help from the book guy. Number 3 was manage the damage. Immediately call your bank. They're not going to do anything to help you. Last part of the chapter. Internet inherently violates your privacy. They just step and step and step. Come on. I want to talk about the deep shit. WikiLeaks.com. They proved that your fucking TV, if you have a Sony, it's spying on you. Go read the leaks. 2014, there was a California company called Proofpoint. They were busted bugging 100,000 routers. This is just like the cable guy, Jim Carrey. The password is, I bugged your house. Some fucking, I said it before, the post guy, the cable man. It's not that hard to buy a bug online. Go look on Amazon. It's creepy shit if you are an evil person. It's a real easy time to be evil. Think of this upcoming month, July, we're going to do the future of violence as well. Obviously, I need to learn about that. Internet providers, they love tracking your data. Trace Act kind of eliminated the middleman. There used to need to be a warrant, due process. Imagine if they just did this in the real world. Cops can... They did it in Canada. I don't have to say imagine. Imagine Canadian people's getting stop and frisked. That's what's happening up there. That's what's happening to us online. And like I said before, it's these test programs. It'll be brought to the real world. Totalitarianism being astroturfed online. California company Proofpoint, bunch of scumbags, just like the NSA. On the same page as that Trace Act. That's what my mom said my name would have been if I was a chick. Page. And now I'm the fucking weirdo that reads books. Trace Act, no Fourth Amendment. Obama, as soon as he was about to leave, eliminated the middleman as well. He made it so that the NSA could share all of their backlog with all the other intelligence agencies. FBI man now. CIA has your data. And whatever other black water, real spy agencies, anything they want to look at. You just got to own it. Every single time before you masturbate, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. And then you tuck your penis in between your legs. Trace Act, you got to love it. I don't even think in England they're in the streets over this type of stuff. It's kind of just a given. Everybody's on the Truman Show. You're going to birth your kid into a crib where they have the iPad above it, the smart screen, and the Ministry of Children is going to bear your kid into existence. Imagine that. You've seen, I'm going totally off these YouTube algorithms that lead children into like satanic videos. That's what's going to be over your baby's crib. There's going to be some positivity at the end of the book. But it's a lot of shit that people are putting up with ahead we have to go through first. Ended the chapter. Obviously, your cable guy is spying on you. Facial technology. Now Walmart is tracking your every step. There's some creepy stuff about tracking steps in gait technology. So they're fucking 50 years ahead of this. They could take 100 frame per second video and measure how you walk like Bigfoot and see if you are the Sasquatch they're trying to identify. Here's a real skittish theory that's being tossed around. I don't buy it. People think that masks are for training facial recognition technology. Adjust your tinfoil hats, people. That's a shit theory. The tech's way beyond that. They could hit you with an infrared like the Predator and see what flavor of gum that you're chewing on. He says this is an unstoppable train that we're on, which is ironic. Remember that movie Unstoppable about a train that gets hacked and then it can't stop unless it goes below a certain speed? That's what society feels like right now. There's no brakes. Go watch Snowpiercer. That'll end the chapter. Remember those 3 M's: monitor and manage the damage. Chapter 4, it's a hard knock life. Chapter starts with taxation. Whole couple first chapters were learning that we are paying to spy on ourselves. So I really am not going to try to make too much sense with this taxation bullshit. The IRS commissioner sent out a mass email in 2015 saying there are multiple shortfalls on our side and we're sorry about all the leaks. They lost something like $350 million to scammers, tax scams. The IRS has fewer than 12,000 employees. Adam was saying, obviously we're not paying to protect ourselves. That should be step number 1. I wrote in the bio, if you're an empire, you're not paying for prevention. You're paying for retaliation. It's when you could lock down the scammers when you find the Edward Snowden. You exile him for life. Make one big example. You don't give a fuck about the little man getting effed over. You actually encourage it a little bit. It's good for ratings. IRS not hiring new people to look into this $250 million a year issue. I might just become an internet pirate. The Treasury Department, arg, they've got some booty. He said they took a $5 million raise, and then the next year there was even more internet theft. Tell me what business this works in. Reverse incentives of government. The big issue here aren't the piranhas, the opportunists. That's what America is made of. It's the fucks that are chumming the water. Like the IRS plays into these... They're stuffing the turkey. If we go too deep, we're going to lose the recreational divers. Read this book. Levin was mentioning the same year, 2015, a Head Start program died in the Senate. It would have been a measly $3 million to educate low-income families on basic nutrition. Wild. Obviously, what we spend our money on is ridiculous. This shit just gets me angry now. That's kind of what you need. We're here for the rage. Joe Biden says no amendment is absolute in 2021. As I said, the 4th Amendment is for ply. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. So that amendment is not absolute. And then the 16th Amendment implemented the income tax. So why don't we maybe repeal that one? Good one-liner to end it. Shame trumps the desire for justice. Public shaming book. We want to see one man get sent to Russia. Assange. They're like poisoning his water. We're a cancel culture. We're looking for shame, just like the Puritans. Nobody cares about justice. If this was Gotham, we would hang Batman. Justice. Everybody is the Joker. Burt's Hamilton, legendary case. It was an inter-family case, so he's trying to load you with more fear. Like, we don't got enough of that. Some girl was getting sent double bills by their parents, and then the mom pretended to die so that she got paid a life insurance premium. You know, all this crazy stuff. Don't even trust your own family, according to Adam Levin. He said if you live in Utah, Mississippi, and I think it was like Wisconsin, you definitely got hit with the IRS scam in like 2015. 100% you did. The antidote to the hard knock life? Tax fraud. Chapter 5, From Dangerous to Deadly. Social media is taking up on average 3 hours of a person's day. Some people find it hard to imagine a life without it. Our dependency becomes more life or death by the year. It's like self-expressed selflessness, and it's cool to do that. Levin considered social media mastery the art of posting and ghosting. If you've noticed, the neckbeards out there, I've been getting good at this. Don't even. More than half of people on the internet are negative. I'm not even going to entertain this thought in my head right now. I appreciate any positive support that we've been getting. Dangerous to deadly. The more we get reliant on this stuff, we're more at the behest of the Department of Public Affairs. He advised against linking your Fitbit or your Nest to your social media. Oh, who's going to scam you by your steps? Want to improve your steps by 10,000 feet? Walk to this horny MILF in your area. Remember that old story? There was a guy on the South Pole. He was on an underground base, and he linked his Fitbit, and it showed he was in a standard quarter-mile track under Antarctica, like people looked at the Google Earth. There's nothing there. This guy's uploading his Fitbit. Ooh, it was a glitch. Deep underground military bases. We need the white hats to be looking into that stuff for us. He did say that it's not the worst to be putting your stuff online if you're trying to spread a brand, but once that becomes your only venue, then you're in the life or death category once again. You can't be totally reliant on YT. Go check out the Patreon. Support the show. Like, if you're a local musician, you can't be reliant on one venue. It's good advice. Going from dangerous territory of censorship into deadly. Censorship, you are unpersoning people. It's worse than the stockades. Assassination of character. He said, how long until you are held responsible for what your followers or your people say? And it's not a how long. Look across the Pacific in China. If one of your followers say one of these crazy things, your entire lineage could be put in a re-education camp. In North Korea especially. If you kill yourself, they kill your whole family too. It's a total prison of the mind, body, and soul. Inching towards it year by year. 80% divorce lawyers stalk social media pages to strengthen their case. I was talking about the buttholes before. If your girl has posted thirst traps, she's getting no alimony. Pretty sick. So maybe you do encourage her. You don't have to sign a prenup anymore, fellas. Just get her to be a thought on the internet. She get a touch of petty of your worth. Half the dudes are getting catfished out here, so no luck to those chumps. 11 tip, change your username every so often. Never use your real name. Have an internet persona. If we listen to these Ajit Pai motherfuckers, no girls are going to be able to have Finstas. Those are like the fake ones where girls can, with taste, put up a cheeky butthole picture. I hope I make it sound cringeworthy, because it's got to stop. I want this Puritan society. If we're going to shame people, keep your goddamn ankles under your skirt. I'm moving to the Middle East. Obviously, don't store your credit information on social media. Change your name up. I've used pseudonyms on stage. Nobody steal this. Seymour Coochie. It's the best. Shout Matt Kobos when they just closed fucking Streets of London. It's where the Wednesday open mic was in Denver, and they changed the name of the bar to Tight End. It's probably going to be a gay bar. I could get bigger laughs there. Shout out to the MC there. He would fall for it sometimes. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Seymour Coochie. People, it takes a minute. You're already getting a laugh before you're on stage. No Shakespeare. Shaking dude spears. Pseudonyms work. Neil Strauss wrote Kevin Hart's biography. He says don't store your credit information online. If you played Farmville, Mark Zuckerberg, 1110, going through all of your pigs that... Great Farmville joke. Last part of the chapter was about stealing credit card numbers. Tax fraud was in its heyday for a while, and now medical identity theft is on the rise. He says that in a decade, healthcare will receive around $5 trillion from the government. Weird way to phrase it. It's a honeypot, just like the military-industrial complex. I'll put a graphic on the YouTube video here. A look at who funds the CDC. These are some of the biggest ways to create fake businesses to just get money recirculating into the state. There's a gross story about a nursing home forcing seniors to rewatch Forrest Gump because they couldn't bill people for group therapy. In Netherlands, all those Finnish countries, they pay for kids in their 20s to live in senior homes. You just have to have dinner with them. That's all the therapy you goddamn need. The way we treat our old people in America, egregious. I want to be Chinese now when I see that. It's nasty. I don't need to hear about this Adam Levin. They got Forrest Gump on a loop. Another scam. People with Alzheimer's are getting hit pretty bad. What was that charge in my card? What? What was it? Too easy. $1,900 for a helicopter ride the guy paid for, and he doesn't remember it. Big score down in Naples, Florida. You go down to the Key West, you could be getting all kinds of cash. Nick's nonfiction pro tip here. Always ask for an itemized receipt at the hospital. There's a lot of posts about this online as well. They'll start listing all the insurance deductions and the price magically changes. It's like going to a body shop and they start charging you for mysterious labor. Better yet, the hand job parlor. I didn't get the secret rub and tub. Seemed pretty standard. Office of Personnel Management, watching while old people with mental disabilities getting worked over. Medical identity theft grows 20% per year since 2014. Amish country, here I come. Chapter 6, Culture Eats Strategy. It's a quicker one. He says identity theft is the third certainty of life, right behind death and taxes. Thieves like to glom onto tragedy, even if the government is included. So he's trying to build for this chapter. As soon as you die, you are the most vulnerable. Just like the wild, the buzzards start to swarm on the fresh meat. So as soon as you got somebody dead in the family, you got to close their accounts. Hopefully they have one trustworthy bro who will delete their browsing history and get the nudie mags out of the closet. You become an identity donor when you die. World War I and II, men came back assuming identities of the dead. Like I was saying, you get a fresh start. You had a story about the 1970s. Even those guys in Vietnam came home with a North Viet Cong wife they stole. It was a sparse economy in the 70s. So people were getting hit with DNA exoneration, which before he said came out in the 80s. Look into like 23andMe leaks that happen all the time. That is your DNA just getting stolen. They have your body double. What was that movie, The Lottery? It's an island full of body doubles, and they kill those ones for organs. Yes, I am suggesting that's what the deep underground military bases are for. Culture eats strategy. Culture is more important than any strategy the military has. If we could turn the tides on this stuff, turn off the computers, they'll start coming to the negotiation table. And if not, we're burning down the 5G towers. Target is not exempt. When they were expanding into Canada, they had a data breach that cost $941 million. And Target said they weren't collecting anybody's credit cards, but they lost $1 billion worth of their customers' money. Look into who funds Target on the biggest levels. Like they're getting bricks thrown into their shit by BLM. Look who funds BLM. It's both George Soros. I don't have to send you on a goose chase. Data breaches are usually extinction-level events. Like I was saying before, the mass casualties. You're going to get hit in these big ones, no doubt. So Adam is going, these institutional failures need to have some accountability. Taxation without representation, this is theft without justice. And it's encouraged. Let's go to chapter 7 before I blow a casket. The highest law. Began this one like an economist. Cost-benefit ratio is forever skewed online when weighing in the possibility of identity theft. Like we said before, if you don't post anything online, it can't be stolen. So if you're always going, well, I shouldn't pay for this function that's going to make it easier for me to do business. You can't be too paranoid because, yeah, you're going to get scammed. It would make... Go about your life, have fun online, go on addictinggames.com, cool math, get yelled at by your social studies teacher. 50% of companies dedicate none of their budget to securing mobile apps. So this chapter was a little bit more about the mobile phone and how it's even less secure. You know the kid who used to sell Gushers at lunch, he has his own mobile app. That's like the new version of it. Kids would jailbreak their phones when I was in middle school. That was the status of a hacker. If you could download the $15 Call of Duty Nazi Zombie app on my iPod, dude, I will be your enforcer. He's saying try to always access whatever application you want from a secure server and device at home. Minimizing risk, it's all about. Spencer Bauchus. Oh, this is the last chapter, too. Damn. This Spencer Knucklehead is in the House Banking Committee, and he says federal regulations should take their orders from banks. Not even trying to hide this stuff in the government corruption anymore. We are owned by banks. We will bail out people that fail, only if they're big enough. There's a current attempt underway to liquidate the Consumer Protection Act. This is what we started with. It costs banks $34 billion annually to fund this agency that is there. You can pick up the phone if you are an old person and just lost your entire Social Security check. There's someone there waiting for you. Spencer Bauchus and the boys up top are trying to dissolve this. How much worse? I wonder if the people my age are going to be the old white. I don't think power changes. We're going back and forth playing ping pong here. Evil always wins. The future of violence. We just need to be a step ahead. Adam mentioned HIPAA, entire encrypted medical servers being leaked. Happy one. The fappening. Remember when all the celebrities got their nudes leaked? And I'm going to make this one happy as well. All of our iCloud faps are going to be leaked as well eventually. I firmly believe this, and that is what will turn us into the burning of Rome, the final degradation of the empire, when everybody no longer has shame. This is like the end times in the Bible as well. Once everybody's dirtiest, not my proudest wank is released online, everybody's on the same playing field then. No shame. Adam, his call to action at the end is going, none of these lawmakers understand that the levee is about to break. They take their direction from bankers, not even keeping their ear to the ground, hearing how, like, none of the senators read this book. You have kids learning how to make deep fake videos. Who knows if Joe Biden is a real person at this point? Come see Joe Biden in 4D, the hologram. Can I just see the president give a speech? 2015, California, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Missouri, Texas, Florida defined usernames as protected assets. Some privacy for the people. God damn! New Hampshire, Missoula, Tejas, Florida. Those are some real-ass patriot states. Got to start pushing back on some of this. Otherwise, we're going to have to watch the Big Brother hour. Like, it's not even cool to say it's 1984 anymore. It's beyond that. Has there been a decrease in cybercrime? Absolutely not. Adam is saying the culture must change before the laws. If the people don't give a damn, why should our handlers? If you're the manager of a company and your people don't even want to be paid more, why would you start giving them more money? You can't blame them. I'm going evil for that evil episode. That's going to be the twist. I'm going to be the Iron Man arms dealer. Assess your risk, because the government definitely isn't doing it for you. They're to serve and protect. He ends saying, Washington needs to realize it's not a matter of red state versus blue state. We are all in the same state of emergency. I feel my white-ass corny cornbread coming out. That shit. State of emergency. Adam Levin's Swiped. Pretty fun edition here to end June. Summer fully underway. Kicking off next month with a themed episode, as we always do. July, we are going gaming once again. Last year, Wolf of Wall Street. This year, we're taking the actual game board. Word Freak. Stefan Fatsis, New York Times writer. Big vocabulary. We're shuffling up the Scrabble scene, which is now racist. Hearing this, they're removing words from the Scrabble dictionary because it's doublethink. This book is really fun. No politics. I'm going to be happy to decompress. Fatsis infiltrated the Scrabble world. And yeah, you don't even know this is a thing. There are these people with 60,000 word vocabularies, complete savants at this game. There is this secret world of wordies. And this is the niche, baby. That's the niche we're going to be going into next week. Our July-themed episode, Stefan Fatsis, Word Freak. Thank you guys for tuning in for another edition of Nick's Nonfiction. Definitely check out the Patreon page. Check out Harry Schwunt on Instagram. Funny memes are going up. We said Vine, whatever 7-second video app is going to come and go. You got your long form here. You got your one-line joke every single night over there. Nick Muniz signing off. I'll see you guys next week. Later.